Hi. Today we're going to be looking at the new CTE programs offered at Lapeer High School in the fall of 2021. CTE stands for Career and Technical Education, and our students have had the opportunity to take lots of really great CTE programs at the EdTech facility for many years. But the programs that I'm going to talk to you about today are for 11th and 12th grade students at LHS, and those programs are offered right at the high school. So there is not the need for the transfer bus to go over to the EdTech facility. The two programs that we're looking at today are the machine tool technology pathway and the robotics and automation pathway. So we're going to take a look into what is involved in these programs, what is expected of students as far as time commitments for their 11th and 12th grade years, what kinds of experiences those students are going to have while they're in the programs, and what kind of value these programs can add to a high school diploma. So, whenever we start to look at new programming, we always have to answer that question of why. Is this something relevant? Is this something that is important for students to have access to? And we really believe that it is. Advanced manufacturing is not going anywhere. There is a continued growth of this, and as we automate more things and as we continue to build in that manufacturing world, there's going to be a need for students with this skill set. So if you take a look at the graphic here on the right-hand side, you can see they've got manufacturing listed as the sixth largest employer in the United States. In particular, if you take a look over here, Michigan is considered one of the states with the largest concentration of manufacturing types of facilities, which equates to jobs. So is this relevant for our students? Absolutely. A student just finishing high school will have an opportunity to go enter the field of work if they choose to do that, and they'll have lots of choices for their employment. That could be right out of high school. That could be with some additional training, or that might also include some post-secondary work. But no matter what level students enter the job market, they will have access to lots and lots of options for their work. Another key feature of this is that students and those entering this field have an opportunity to earn a solid, livable wage. There's some information here at the top. They average around $26 an hour with an average annual salary of around $64,000. So that's a pretty decent wage for students with some experience to kind of enter that field of work. And you can see here that there are 12.3 million jobs available. So lots and lots of opportunities for students to kind of enter into that. So this is kind of just an overview screen of what we're going to be looking at today. The machine tool technology pathway. So if you look just on this side of your screen here, this is the name of the pathway. You'll notice here is our 11th grade and then our 12th grade. And so our machine tool technology piece has a 1 hour commitment for students in 11th grade and a 2 hour commitment for students in 12th grade. And the robotics and automation pathway has a 2 hour commitment for students in 11th grade and a 2 hour commitment for students in 12th grade. So we'll kind of break those down a little bit more in these next slides and kind of take a look at what kinds of equipment and supplies and materials and experiences these kids will have as part of these programs. So the machine tool technology piece is kind of that CNC side of things. You can see the future CNC machining job trends. So these are projected starting at around 2013 and going all the way to 2024. And you can see that there's consistent growth in all areas. That's very important for us. Our kids are going to graduate, get some additional training, and be able to kind of enter that world of work and have lots of opportunities to do so. So this slide kind of shows you what those commitments are. So in our 11th grade year, our machine tool technology students will have two courses, one each semester, called Foundations of Manufacturing, and also some CAD VEX experience. So computer aided design and some robotics kind of design and building manufacturing pieces. As they progress into 12th grade, we've got some CNC, mill and lathe work that they'll do, and also some Parker Hannifin hydraulics and pneumatics. And it ends with a machine work study, which includes some co-op opportunities for students to go out into local business and industry, get some recent and relevant job experience, in the field and see what it is that they might want to do and to build some skills so when they graduate, they have a really solid understanding of what field they're interested in and they have some experience to include on their applications. The robotics and automation pathway, notice the same kind of growth trend off to the graph on the right. It's not going anywhere. More and more things are getting automated. Having people available to program and service and maintain and integrate machines in this field is something that is absolutely growing across lots and lots of different venues. We have some opportunities for students to kind of look at where their interests are so that upon graduation, they can decide where they would like to apply those skills. So this is what those classes are for the robotics and automation piece. We have a 2-hour commitment in the 11th grade year. So they'll take the foundations of manufacturing and also some computer aided design and VEX as well. Those students are going to spend some time looking at Rockwell PLCs, electronics, Parker Hannifin, hydraulics and pneumatics, all in their junior year. And as they progress to that 12th grade year, they'll get into some more advanced Rockwell stuff and some FANUC pieces as well. They'll get a little experience on mill or lathes as far as the programming side of things, and they will also have an opportunity for some work study, co-op, job share, job shadow kinds of experiences that last semester of their senior year as well. So these are our partners. If you're familiar at all with the manufacturing field, these are some pretty impressive names here that we've been able to partner with to bring our students the very, very best experiences that we can. FANUC, the yellow robots, lots of people are familiar with that, but they're really the leader in industry in our particular geographic area. They're also going to be working with some VEX robotics. We have lots of students involved in VEX robotics already. We're encouraging anyone who has any interest in that to kind of check out these pathways. Parker Hannifin is our hydraulics and pneumatics information system. So they'll be working with kind of the nuts and bolts of how things work and kind of having some really broad understanding of how that manufacturing equipment works. Stratasys is our 3D printing platform that we're using. We have 2 incredible printers. We'll talk to you a little bit more about that in a minute. Rockwell Automation and Allen Bradley, very widely known for their PLC work. Students will get some experience working with this within these systems as well. We also have a universal laser system, piece of machinery that's incredible that students will have access to in the program as well. If you're familiar at all with RAM Tech, it's in Ohio. It's a program very similar to ours, but it's been running for several years. It's very successful, and our program is modeled after their plan to get manufacturing in the hands of kids, to make it recent, to make it relevant, to make it important to our community, and to get students from our training facility into the world of work in the areas that they're most interested in. So IST Ohio has been a very important partner with us to kind of get all of these pieces of equipment, as well as training, as well as kind of that broad overview to give students a really solid foundation so that when they do decide to go on to work, they have that information and that knowledge to take with them. So the names are great, but taking a look at the equipment is actually just as interesting here. So here you recognize the yellow robots. We've got our 2 FANUC pieces. This is an IR vision robot. So notice it's fenceless, which is kind of neat. There's a little sensor underneath that will stop the robot if you walk too close to its work envelope. So it really gives a great view of the motion and mobility and the options that this robot has without having these sides kind of blocking the view for students. So it's a really great piece of equipment that we have to train students on. This piece of equipment here is called an MTech Sim. It involves working with a simulated CNC, which we control here and we see back here on the screen. And we integrate this robot arm to kind of work with these 2 pieces. So it's kind of a practice to integrate some systems. And you also see we've got our teach pendants down here, which are industry teach pendants. These are not trainers that that we use in school. And then when you enter the field of work, it's not at all what you're going to see. These are industry standard pieces of equipment. So if you can work one of these, that makes you incredibly marketable to local business and industry when you fill out your job application. Right here we have our two 3D printers. These are absolutely incredible. They do some of the most amazing things I've ever seen 3D printers do. This one has the capability to print in lots of different mediums. So you can print a lot more than just that hard plastic, which some people think that's what a 3D printer can do. This one does a lot more than that. So, and students will work with these two pieces of equipment right out of the gate. So that very first year, they're going to get some time and some experience designing in the computer aided design system, and then actually printing and building the pieces and the parts that they're designing. Over here, this is a kind of a tabletop CNC. We have a mill and a lathe that students can work on. Again, standard, if students can run this piece of equipment, then they have a really good understanding about how any other CNC mill or lathe may work. And that's really an important transferable skill for kids to have. Down here is our Rockwell piece of equipment. Notice that we have a little Ferris wheel trainer down there. This is a lot of the PLC stuff, electronics, some micro configurations. There's a lot of information in that particular, that's in the robotics and automation pathway. And students will have some experience. We have several of those, so they'll get hands-on experience with all of this equipment. This piece right here is a laser cutter. This is also a piece of equipment that students will have access to right out of the gate. There's some programming involved with that, but students can then construct and build and build along with these printers and kind of make a plan into a reality. That's a really important piece of that manufacturing mindset. We have several of these tabletop CNC trainers as well. They work just like a standard piece would. We can hook our teach pendants up and we can hook our laptops up and get kids more and more time on that equipment so that they can see how to build their skills and where they're weak and where their strengths are. This last piece over here is the Parker Hannifin trainer board. So one side is hydraulics and the other side is pneumatics. So if you kind of take a look at how this equipment works, it's really important for students to have that basic understanding of how things work together to create a system that can, move equipment, build equipment, things like that. So those are just a sample of some of the equipment that students will have access to in those program pathways that we talked about. So we have some great partners, we have some great equipment, but here's where we start to get into the value for kids. So a student completing this program has the opportunity to earn a credential or a certification, if you will, in all of these particular areas. So we can kind of take a look here and see that we've got several different FANUC certifications and credentials that students can potentially earn. These are industry standards certifications. So if you take that certification on a job interview with you and you give that to your potential employer, they're going to know that you have some pretty basic but complete understanding of machine setup, operations, and programming. They'll understand that's a translatable kind of skill set. They'll be able to see, oh, well, this individual knows, at least some information about this and this and this. It absolutely makes our students more marketable. We also have Allen Bradley and Rockwell Automation certifications and credentials as well. And we have Parker Hannifin pneumatic and hydraulic certifications. So all of those are available to our students within the pathways. They're really available to them. So once they build their skills up enough, they're able to kind of take that and show that they have mastered that understanding and they can earn these credentials before graduation. So that makes a big difference on a job interview, absolutely. So what are some more benefits of enrolling in this program? You get to train on state-of-the-art equipment from leading brands in the field. These are not like school trainers. They are sometimes scaled down for school purposes, but they are industry standard pieces of equipment. There is not a learning curve on learning how to, I can do it on the trainer, but when I get to the actual factory floor, the manufacturing facility, I don't know how to run their equipment. That's not the case in our particular program. So these students will have access to the actual equipment used in industry, which is a really important feature. They also have the opportunity to earn those industry standard certificates or credentials from multiple companies, and we want those to be stackable. So it'd be great. You can earn as many as you can while you're here, and then you can stack those up and add that to your resume and your job application, and increase your marketability and increase your chances to get that job that you really want. Some additional benefits to that: if you complete both years, so your 11th and 12th grade year, if you complete all of the courses in your individual pathway at the Lapeer High School program, it will count for your Algebra 2 credit. It will also count for your fourth year math credit. It will count for your VPA, which is a visual performing arts credit, and a second year foreign language. So there's a ton of value in going through this program. You get a lot of hands-on experience. You will do algebra too. It's not that you're getting out of that, but the algebra 2 that you're going to be doing is embedded in the coursework, with your FANUC in your CNC courseware. So you have an opportunity to get that math experience, but it's going to be in a little bit of a different way, and it will count for your algebra 2 credit. So that could be a selling point for some students. This adds a ton of value to your high school diploma. When we take a look at graduation, it says that you completed high school, but being able to stack some credentials on there and say, yep, I graduated, but I can also run a FANUC robot. I'm proficient with Parker Hannifin hydraulics and pneumatics, and I can program a PLC from Rockwell. That's a pretty incredible list of things to add to your diploma upon graduation. So where can you get more information? We've got a lot of people available to kind of help you with this. When we take a look at Mr. Doug Lindsay is the principal at the high school, so he is absolutely well versed in this program and can answer questions. But as far as getting into the details of how it might work in your particular schedule or with your particular coursework that you have left to complete for your graduation requirements, these three individuals, Mrs. Carmela, Mrs. Pecor, Mr. Lorenz, are all going to be able to help you to kind of see how this program might fit into your individual schedule, and what benefits it can give you, what doors it can open, what it can kind of shift around so that you're able to get the experience that you want out of your high school education. Uh, I recommend talking to them about specifics with your particular pathway, with your particular schedule and needs. My name is Jamie Ratliff. I'm the STEM program coordinator for the district. If you have questions about this program, I can absolutely help you with that if you're interested. If you're interested in coming to check it out, you want to go see what's going on. Most of the program is housed in E40 right across from the office. If any parents listening would like to come check out the facility, you can reach out, contact me. I'm happy to walk you through there, show you what's going on with the program, answer any questions that I can. If I don't know the answer, I promise that I will find it for you. Our job at Lapeer Schools is to kind of open doors for kids. We're really excited to have some new doors to open for some upcoming 11th and 12th grade students. If you have questions about the program at all, please reach out and we're happy to help you. Looking forward to talking to you. Thanks.